Chain of Sounds is back again, and this time we are going to speak about buffer. Sometimes you can hear buffer connected to preamp, and probably it is when it's built in. It's a buffer preamp because the preamp delivers, let's say, 10 mega ohms. But this time we're going to speak about separate buffers, and then it happens to be a little different.
Yeah, but because I remember that we talked about you and other double bass players who were searching for pickups.
Many years ago.
Only pickups,
Yeah.
then, as piezo. So that's what we talk about.
Yes.
And you could hear a big difference between different piezos, of course. And we was maybe 15 years ago, and it wasn't so common that there were a lot of buffers, but it wasn't so common to understand the connection between the tiny little piezo pickup meeting this high impedance buffer. And we learned that maybe a year ago, that we really could hear how it could trash the sound. It could trash the sound and trash the bass information.
Yeah, yeah. It was basically when we started to record the tracks for our platform, the Chain of Sounds platform, with the digital mixer and everything, and we realized how important the buffer is when you're recording and playing with only piezos.
Yeah. So the history is that everybody is building buffers in the pedals. This is an old tuner. It's 1 mega ohm, the input impedance. And I think it comes from the impedance of a valve amp. It's the standard. So all electric guitars and electric bass needs maybe 1 mega ohm to function right and to sound right. Yeah. And after that, when they started to do buffers, MXR as one buffer on 1 mega ohm, we have SUR on 2 mega ohms. Lele has one switchable between 1 mega ohm and 5 mega ohm. And during one time in the true bypass era in the 90s, people started to question the sound of a high impedance buffer because they thought it was too bright. But I mean, it depends on how you look at things. I always liked the way you could use a buffer in the start of your pedal board because it helps your guitar or your electric bass to sound good. And the pickup, it doesn't have to be a piezo, it can be like a magnetic pickup, but it needs to have this input of a high impedance input. It's very important to have the tone of the sound. And then later on now I found one of 10 mega ohms, a little Thorpe buffer pedal, a little one. Actually hard to find buffers.
Flutter, yeah.
But like you said, you don't need it if you have it in your acoustic preamp or something, your 2-channel preamp.
Yeah.
But you showed me one brand that sell their piezo together with a buffer.
Yes, the Danish pickup producer or manufacturer Wilson has been a world-leading pickup manufacturer for many years, and they are making this buffer. It's called Gain 1, and it's a great solution. We used it for all the tracks in the studio a year ago, and now I think this is Mark II, so something is even a little better with this one. It's chargeable, and you charge it with this one, but you can also use it without the cord, of course. And comes with a belt pack. And if you don't want to use the belt pack, you can put some Velcro on here and put it on the backside of the string holder down here. That's a possibility, one of many. Or you can just let it lie on the floor, whatever you prefer. It's handy, and it's very, very silent and high quality. And while I'm at it, I might as well mention this. It's a friend of mine who I also did an interview with, a Gothenburg-based bassist, Kjell Jansson, who found a guy who custom built these buffers, 10 mega ohm, with the phono jack especially made for this pickup, the Fishman Full Circle, which is a phono cord, and phono jack. So what you could do with this one is, of course, Velcro on the backside, put it on the inside of the string holder, and connect it. And you will basically have no distance at all between the buffer and the pickup, which also is one of the things that buffer does, really. So we'll put the address or the possibility. The guy doesn't have this company anymore, but I spoke to Magnus, who makes them, and if you are interested, I'll connect him and you have the possibility. That is, if you use the Fishman Full Circle, and will enhance the quality of that pickup. We'll play a little for you. If you don't happen to believe that you need a buffer, we will probably change their minds, right?
We're going to try it with this one.
Yeah.
So this, okay, yeah.
That's
Sorry.
10 mega ohms.
Yeah.
10 mega ohms. So
yeah, this is a line. This is a DI box, a line box, and this is radial. It's a rather new one. PZDI. It's a piezo optimized input, and it has a variable load active DI. So it's active. It needs the phantom power, but it's very different all other DI boxes on the market.
Do you think we could call that one a buffer preamp?
Yeah, I mean, all have buffers, but not the high impedance buffers.
Okay. Yeah,
so
okay.
I found one setting here on 260 kilo ohms, which is very low, but that's standard for a lot of active DI boxes. And I think it's because you use the DI boxes a lot on keyboards, which are not, of course, piezo instruments. If it's a clarinet, there's another thing maybe, but it's when you use DI boxes, you want to have the DI box to have the ground lift and to feed your microphone input. And of course, it could be anything from electric active bass to keyboard or something. But this one goes beyond that with the possibility to optimize the input here. So we want to show you how, or want to hear the difference between the settings. So I'm going to change between 220 kilo ohms and 10 mega ohms. It's a big step for mankind, but a small step for Nisse. So See, if you play just one note and we start on the 2. And we switch. Then we go to 1 mega ohm. It's like a standard pedal buffer, 1 mega ohm. Back down to 10 mega ohms. Maybe not such a big difference. And back to 220 kilos. So what we can hear is that it's more low end on the 10 mega ohm, and the recording that we referred to, when we had one problem, we thought it was a problem with the pickup, but it was not. We had the wrong input impedance at that time, and you helped it with this one, of course.
With the Wilson. Yes.
Wilson. But it wasn't just the low end, it was some distortion in the bass frequency also. So I think this is very clear that the piezo needs a really high impedance to work right.
Which brings me to, I come to think about some of the combos. Maybe you don't even bring your own gear. You sometimes play on the house equipment, whatever it is. And some makers, some manufacturers does not really allow a piezo microphone or a piezo pickup to be put in directly into the input
No,
jack.
because they're still in the old fashioned way of 1 mega ohm. It works, it sounds, but it's not so full.
But that could not be it couldn't be expensive to add that to a combo, right?
I don't know why, but I think it's many people play electric upright, or they play electric bass, or
magnet microphones.
Yeah. Or active.
Yeah.
So, and that's another story, because they're not so sensible to the impedance.
Yeah. On the other hand, I should say there are some makers who actually, it's like, just plug and go. They have a high impedance, and we'll maybe deep dive into that as well. So with that said, over and out from Chain of Sounds for this little short buffer sequence. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think, and subscribe to the channel. Bye.